if it does not look right, 9 times out of 10 it isn't. We need to remember to go with our gut.
You know, Tanika, this is why I just don't answer my phone anymore.
Right.
I don't care who's calling. I'm not answering. Hey everyone, I'm Josh. This is the In Your Corner podcast from CBS News Philadelphia, where we are all about finding you practical ways to make smarter financial decisions. And that does include protecting your money from scammers. You know, with Valentine's Day coming up, the FBI warns that scammers, they manage to steal millions and millions of dollars every year from people, all in the name of love, using fake online identities to gain trust and affection, to then manipulate and steal, often ending in heartbreaking stories like Kate Kleinert's, who last year shared with In Your Corner how a romance scam cost her entire life savings.
Kate Kleinert's story starts with a Facebook friend request from a man who claimed his name was Tony, a surgeon with 2 kids working in Iraq. Before you knew it, they were talking multiple times a day.
I had been widowed for 12 years at that point. It was nice. It was nice talking to a man again. And every single night, he would call me and say, "How was your day, honey?" Nobody asks me that anymore.
Kate's story and so many others also highlight what makes this crime particularly cunning. Not only stealing victims' money, but leaving them heartbroken and often too embarrassed even to report it. And now artificial intelligence is only making it easier for scammers to carry out these schemes, and increasingly their targets might not be who you think they are. Tanyika Rickard is our guest this week on the podcast. She's here with warning signs that everyone should know and what not to share when you're looking for love online. Welcome, Tanyika.
Hello. Thank you for having me today.
So good to get you in here. So, Tanyika, you are a community manager with Chase Bank here in Philadelphia. What is that?
I am one of 2 community managers here in Philadelphia. And what that means is we are here to build trust between the community and the banking institutions. Our primary goal is to build financial health programming that's going to support your dreams and also help you be aware of things such as frauds and scams. We have a workshop dedicated to it where we break down what frauds look like, what you should be aware of, and so that we're all vigilant in protecting ourselves.
I attended one right before the holidays with you over, and we were in West Philly, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
We were, yeah, and it was a good turnout too. And I know you get some regulars too. They loved it.
We do.
Well, so as a point of contact and dealing directly with customers, I'm sure that you have your share of stories where customers come in and you feel they're telling you maybe why they need money,
Absolutely.
and you're feeling like, I know what this is.
Absolutely.
What is that like?
That is my job, is to listen for the red flags, right? To listen to what you need, identify how we're moving you forward. So I can provide you with examples of persons who have come into the bank and they're looking for loans. In my previous life here at Chase, I was a community home lending advisor. So the responsibility of that person is to educate you on purchases, refinances, and move you through the process. So there was a gentleman that came in. He told me he wanted to refinance his home. My question to you is, what are you doing with the money? That is a required question that we ask each time someone wants to cash funds out of their home. What are you doing with the money? What exactly is your goal here? His goal is to open a business.
Great.
Exciting,
That's great.
right?
Yeah.
Great news. Okay, so let's talk about your business. Tell me about it. What are you going to do? What type of business? He did not have an answer for that. All he knew is he wanted to open a business. So as I started to drill down and ask additional questions, what surfaces is he has a girlfriend that's going to help him with the business. Tell me about your girlfriend. She comes from a wealthy home. So if she comes from a wealthy home, why does she need you to take $50,000 out of your home? So now I'm really asking questions, right? And digging deep. And as it turns out, he was being scammed. He was being scammed by someone he thought was his girlfriend, online girlfriend who he's never seen in person. He's only spoken to her over the phone.
Red flag, we'll talk about.
Red flag. He's only text her, right? They never had a physical interaction, and this actually went on for some time. So it wasn't a short time, it was a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they had gained his trust. He decided he was going to take the money out of his home.
And you know, I imagine as someone who's sitting there, you're identifying these red flags, you're trying to, you know, stop it,
Yes.
but only to a certain extent. You're kind of powerless, right? You can only do so much.
Correct. Because the customer, what they want is what they want.
Yeah.
And it's my job to make
Yeah.
sure that you receive that.
Yeah.
However, now that we know so much more about frauds and scams, we all have to be vigilant in protecting our customers just the way we would protect the firm.
And I know from personal experience, viewers who've reached out and they're explaining the situation they're in, and you're thinking, oh gosh, no, no. And they're like, well, and then I gave them this much, and it's heartbreaking to see, because there is such a psychological component, right, to these scams, especially when you're talking about in the name of romance, in the name of love, because they often, I've heard people say that they love bomb you.
They do. They love bomb you in the beginning. I can't believe I've met someone like you, right? They love bomb you. I've been waiting to meet for someone like you for so long, because that's who we are, right? We are designed, or we are built to support each other, love each other, build connection, build relationships. And if you are in a space where you don't have that currently, that loneliness can take over, which means sometimes we're not putting our thinking cap on, right? So we're leading with emotion, not necessarily with logic. And when it comes to our older, more vulnerable population, they don't have the time to earn that money back that they've already earned. The time it takes to pay off a mortgage, right? If you've paid it off and you're in your later 50s and 60s, now how am I going to earn this money to pay this back?
Yeah. And what you just said before that too, in the example we used at the top of the podcast, Kate, such a sweetheart. I've kept in touch with her, but she had made the point to say when she was interacting with this man, he would ask every day, how was your day? And she had been widowed for more than a decade at that point. She said, no one asks me that anymore. So it's those little things that they sort of plant these seeds. They love bomb you. They look for people maybe who are in a vulnerable state, right? It said that she was widowed on Facebook.
Absolutely.
So like right there's and then they feed on that, and it's a long con, right? They're in it for the long haul.
Because the goal is to get as much as they can.
Yeah.
Right. And to your point, she's on Facebook. That's the AI component, right? Creating fake profiles to bait you. Right. So now you feel like this profile looks legitimate, right? It looks like someone that I would be interested in, but it actually is not. It is a bot.
Yeah, and that's it too. So, I mean, scammers are weaponizing the advancements that we've seen here in AI. So like you said, they can so easily now create an entire identity in the click of a button. I've also seen it too. They can mimic voices. Even scarier, because I know one of the red flags that we talk about, and we'll get to it, if they're not willing to see you in person or in a video chat. But even now, there are instances where they can create a video chat from AI. So, I mean, it feels like we're up against a lot.
We're up against a lot. And this is where we cannot underestimate human connection face to face, right? Yes, AI is here to make our lives easier, but we really need to remembering it's also here to do a little bit of harm, right? So there aren't persons who are always using it for good. The persons who are using it for harm with the goal of defrauding us of our finances, defrauding us of our money. We need to have our thinking caps on as it relates to how we use AI.
There is sort of a common way that these scams do operate.
Correct.
That you can look for in terms of signs. And I think one of the biggest ones, and you'd already hit on it, this idea that it's a long game.
Yes.
They start out intense, and then they will get into details. They will have stories, right? Be prepared for sort of something that's going to take time.
Absolutely. So what does that look like, right? What does it look like for someone to get to know you, but prior to even connecting with you? To your point, they've gone through your social media. So they know how many grandchildren you have, right? They know what's important to you because you post it. We post everything. We post what we eat. We post where we go. We post our vacations. They get to know you based on what you post. And that is how they are able to now make that connection with you as a person. It's false on their end, but for you, it's someone took the time to ask questions about me, but they already knew what they were going to ask prior to. Right? They ask based on what we've provided about ourselves. And that's also where the AI component comes in. So if you have multiple online presence, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you're on several, AI that they use goes into every profile that you have that is public, and they're able to make some common assumptions about you, not necessarily assumptions, but facts about you based on what we've said. And they use that to get to actually start the conversation, spark the conversation.
Yeah, they literally could take your entire online presence and build their own 1 big master profile on everything about you that you've ever posted out there.
Correct.
And then some, probably.
And then some.
Because we've all got our information out there from data breaches and all that stuff. So I mean, but it goes to show then they come in, they're armed.
Correct.
This is like a knife to a gunfight, right? Like we're at a disadvantage.
Absolutely. And that's where we come in, right? As community managers, our responsibility is to host financial crimes workshops or frauds and scams workshops where we sit you down. And these are the things you need to focus on and pay attention to. How do we arm ourselves? Know what scams are out there. Be able to define them so that we can identify them when they call. If someone calls you, you pick up the phone and say hello, and no one says anything, they could be recording your voice, right? If there's a phone number that pops up on your caller ID that you do not recognize, do not answer it. Do not answer that phone call. If they need you, if it's important, there are other ways to contact you. If it does not look right, 9 times out of 10, it isn't. We need to remember to go with our gut. Go with your gut. There are also scams such as phishing, vishing, and spoofing.
Okay, run me through all three since you brought them up.
So let's
the
talk
differences.
about them. We definitely need to talk
Vishing and phishing,
Right.
they're kind of one and the same, but different plans of attack, sort of, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Phishing is you get an email that looks reputable, but it actually is not, and it's asking you to call a fraudulent number, right? Then you have vishing. Vishing is not like phishing, but it is done over the phone versus via email, right?
Okay.
And they're also asking you, instead of email, they'll call you. And then you have spoofing. That's where you receive a call from a number that looks legitimate and you think it's someone that you know, but it actually isn't. And the goal of all three of these is to get you to share your personal information, record your voice so that they are now able to dig into your finance.
Tanyika, this is why I just don't answer my phone anymore.
Right.
I don't care who's calling. I'm not answering.
It's a scary thing, right? It's scary to answer. There was a time where it was not a big deal to answer the phone. It's a form of communication.
Yeah.
It's a tool and resource that we use, but now we just have to think twice. Think twice. If it doesn't look right, go with your gut.
Now, one thing that really stands out to me, more so in the past few years, I've started to notice this idea. I think we think about, or we might associate a lot of these scams with older people are the victims. And while I think that is the case that, FBI crime data shows the majority are at least over 40, though that's not old by any stretch. I think that there is a misconception that really anyone can be targeted. And in fact, I think younger people may be ripe for the picking here just based on kind of their own habits online, right?
Because they don't think the way older people do. They move quickly. And based on what you need. So to your point, you're looking for a job. I need a job. You receive a link that says we're hiring. And that hiring agency could be someone that you want to work for, but you receive a link. That isn't how they're going to solicit you for a job, right? That isn't how someone's going to reach out to you for a job. Click this link and we'll make sure that you're working. Do not click that link. But young people click links quickly. They act and then they ask questions. So the goal is now you need to ask questions and then act. You receive an email about work. College students often receive emails about credit cards. They receive emails and text messages because what that fraudster knows or that bad actor knows is they're going to move quickly. The faster they can get you to react, the faster they can tap into your finances. So we've seen college students defrauded out of thousands of dollars. We've seen them defrauded out of their financial aid refund checks.
Yeah.
Right. So to your point, young people are actually part of the vulnerable population that we educate.
Well, look, and we're all in the apps too. We're talking with people that we maybe don't even know or we just met or whatever. So, I mean, that also opens you up.
It does. It opens you up to romance scams, right? And to your point, at whatever age, we are designed for connection. So you are longing for friendships. And young people now build friendships online, whereas that tool was not available when I was younger. When I was younger, everything was face-to-face, right? We met on the playground. We met at school.
We don't go outside.
We don't go outside. Not only we don't go outside, they don't play outside. They don't go to the skating
Get
rink
off my
and
lawn.
meet each other. Right.
Gosh, yeah, no.
Now everything is internet and everything is
It's
virtual,
just different. Yeah,
right?
it is. It's a different game for all of us, I think. Okay, so one thing that I've noticed, going back to like there are common patterns and plans of attack that these scammers follow that can help you maybe identify if you're going down the wrong path here. One of the big ones, and I'd like to hear you talk more about this too, the ask for money doesn't never comes up fast. I mean, the ask for money may not come till way later, right?
Correct. We need to get to know each other, right? As we get to know each other, and now you're emotionally connected. Now you're into this person who you may have never seen before. You're into this person. They're going to ask for money eventually because that's their goal. Their goal is to tap into your finances. So however long it takes to build that connection and build that trust with you, they're going to wait that out. So let's just say it takes 6 months, right? Everything has been great. The love bombing, the flowers come, how is your day? All of those things that you like that we've shown them on social media. And then there comes a time where I'm in a bad situation and I need a little bit of help, right? And what you'll notice is something you have to be mindful of. They'll ask you to act quickly. Right? I'm in a bad situation. I need X amount of dollars, but I need to get this taken care of by this week. So that doesn't give you time to think. I need to get this done by tomorrow. It doesn't give you time to think. Once they're in the space where they're asking you for monies, they're going to ask for those monies. The turnaround has to be quick. It's a stressful situation. Please help. So you're connected and you want to alleviate that for them because now you care about this person. So you don't want them to be in trouble. You don't want them to lose whatever it is that the end game is, right? If the end game is, oh, I need it for my home. I need to pay a bill. They're going to ask you to act quickly.
The whole point of it, though, coming so late in the game, though, by then they've warmed you up, they've buttered you up. The term, and I hated the term they were throwing. I think the FBI stopped using it.
Butchering.
Pig butchering.
Correct.
Horrible, but I guess it gets the point across, right? They're fattening you up for slaughter.
For slaughter. They're fattening you up for slaughter.
Oof.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
But I think the term is harsh because it's a harsh crime, right? It's a harsh crime to defraud someone out of what they've worked hard for. So it makes us think, I do not want to be that person. I do not want to be. So harsh term, but it is accurate. They fatten you up over time and then they go in.
I love that we can talk more about this. You have your community events. It's all about awareness. And there are some days where I feel like, gosh, how many more times can we say this? But the reality is, and I've known enough, either viewers or people in my personal life who maybe you'd never even expect that it would happen to them, or they would never think it would happen to them either. And again, going back to like just the deep psychological manipulation that I think you're overestimating yourself. You think this could never happen to me.
I think it's hubris to think that it could never happen to us because it can. And we want to be compassionate to people that has happened to. So how do we make sure it doesn't happen to us? What are things that we need to remember? Do not engage online with people that you do not know. Be aware of new friends, right? Someone who's reaching out to you who wants to be your friend. They have 3 profile pics on their profile, right? If there's 3 pictures there and they want to be your friend, they now can see everything about you, but you can't see everything about them. They're limited in what they're sharing. So that's something to think about. Do not ever send money to people that you do not know. If someone you've made a connection with and you've made this connection for 6 months and they instantly are asking you for money all of a sudden out of the blue, do not send that money.
I don't like doing it for people I do know,
Correct.
frankly.
Because you earned it. It's hard-earned money,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when someone asks me for money, what's the plan in returning that money?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? What's the plan? And you can't do that with someone that you're online with and you do not know. So do not send money to people that you do not know. Do not be persuaded by the urgency, right? So when we talk about they're going to ask you, I need it right now, or I need it by tomorrow, they are creating a sense of urgency for you to act. So beware of that, right? Be very cautious of that. Be skeptical of the sob story. What happened, right? When we are with our friends that we've known for a long time and they tell us things that are happening in their lives, a lot of it sounds logical. But with someone that you do not know, you don't know their personality. So you have no point of reference. So be careful of the sob stories from new friends.
People, I know are so often embarrassed if this does happen to them. And I think it's made it difficult for us to really get a handle on just how big of an issue this is. We talked about since 2023, more than $1 billion
Yes.
have been stolen from people. And I think that is a gross underestimate of what's actually happening because, when it happens to people, they don't even want to tell people that they know.
Right.
When they're finally aware of what's happened to them. And so, I think also the power in just talking more about it is to get people to, you need to report it too.
Absolutely. You should report it. So that takes the sting out of it.
Yeah.
Letting people know, and what you're doing today and highlighting it, letting people know that you're not alone. You're not out there by yourself. So what should you do if that happens to you? You absolutely should file a complaint. Come into the bank, speak to your banker, let the banker know that you've been defrauded. Your bankers have been trained to help you with this, help you file a police report, right? It's necessary to file a police report because it is a crime. It's a financial crime. So although we have workshops that will help you identify it so that we can be proactive when we're thinking about those who have been victims, what is there to help them? So come into the bank, use us as your trusted resource and allow us to help you move through and navigate it. Don't feel embarrassed because now that person has just gotten away with it. What if there was something out there to help you recoup some of those funds? And because this is such a situation across the country nationwide, there are resources. There are community resources that can help you recoup some of your funds. You would not know that if you do not report it. So it's very important to report it. It's very important to file a police report and to lean into the resources that are provided to help you.
Yeah, and I'm sure, we'll still have comments on the video, people saying, well, who would fall for it? Don't be an idiot, whatever. I mean, you could never, how could you ever let this happen to you? But I always tell people, what did I say? More than $1 billion?
Absolutely.
Scammers wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't lucrative.
Absolutely.
So it's working.
It's working. It's working across the country. It's working with different segments of persons. It isn't just one size fits all. Fraudsters, bad actors, what we call them, they know how to tap into defrauding you of your money. They make a career out of it, right? So we need to make a career out of protecting each other and ourselves from these bad actors.
And that is exactly what you've done, Tanyika Rickard, community manager with Chase Bank here in Philadelphia. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about this.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having us anytime. We are open to communicate about other topics, other subjects. Please feel free to come hang out with us in West Philadelphia. We have a community center there at 1550 2nd Street, and we host programming out of that. Our Chase Money Skills are specific to help the community.
I'm going to take you up on that. We
Please
always
and
want
thank you.
guests here on the podcast. Thanks, Tanyika.
You're very welcome. Thank you.